Hot take, willingness to feel is the number one driver of weight loss. I was in a workshop and one of my favorite researchers said something very much like that. And I've repeated it to clients over and over again for years. And I started to wonder, is it true? So when he was talking about that, he was talking about 5 specific studies. And so we're going to look at those. The first one is Forman et al., 2013. I think it was the first Mind Your Health trial. And they were comparing acceptance-based behavioral interventions versus standard behavioral interventions. And in that study, one of the biggest drivers of weight loss was acceptance. So I like to say willingness to feel with my clients because it's actually easier to operationalize, right? Like I'm going to be willing to feel this for a few minutes is actually like really clear. So that willingness in that study made a huge difference. They did a follow-up study 3 years later in 2016. And willingness to feel was a major driver of weight loss. And they did a follow-up study 3 years later. It turned out, again, willingness to feel was what made the difference between the people that maintained the weight loss and they didn't. But here's the thing. Here's sort of like the asterisk on this. Both of these studies included a really robust behavioral weight loss program underneath that. So there was the standard behavioral treatment, which was changing thoughts and changing beliefs so that you would reduce cravings and reduce stress and make better eating choices. And the acceptance-based condition was accepting thoughts and accepting cravings and accepting emotions so that you could change eating behavior. And so there were those different like cognitive strategies in these programs, but both of them included this like broader behavioral weight loss framework that included goal setting and obstacle planning, nutrition education, and how to make better choices, and they had them track. There were all these other components. The fourth one was a replication of those 2 Mind Your Health studies, but this one they did on the phone with coaches instead of in person with therapists. So was willingness to feel the number one driver of weight loss? In these studies, yeah, asterisk, two asterisks. Asterisk number 1 is that willingness to feel was what made the biggest difference here, but all these studies had other behavioral strategies that they were working on at the same time. There's another study that I found that would suggest that the willingness to feel component probably accounts for about 25% of the weight loss. And so that would mean that the other 75% was the nutrition education, was the goal setting, was the obstacle planning for sure. But then again, in these studies, since both conditions had all of that behavioral weight loss framework underneath it, then the differentiator was willingness to feel.